Sam Zell, a towering figure in the American real estate industry, has earned his place in the annals of investment history by demonstrating a singular combination of audacity and wisdom. Zell, who was fondly referred to as the Grave Dancer, possessed a remarkable ability to rejuvenate assets and investments that others considered to be beyond the possibility of being saved. During his distinguished career, he transformed troubled assets into gold mines, so amassing a fortune that was worth multiple billions of dollars and extended across several countries and industries. Zell is a monument to his unrivaled insight and ambitious strategy, as his journey from his humble beginnings in the gritty slums of Chicago to become one of the most powerful characters in real estate is a testament to his path. Zell's career is a compelling narrative of grasping chances where others saw only risk. Whether he was navigating the turbulent seas of the real estate market or diving into varied sectors such as finance, transportation, and media, Zell's career has been a compelling narrative since the beginning. It was on May 18, 2023, when Samuel Zell, a legendary figure in the American real estate industry, passed away as a result of complications stemming from a recent illness. He was 81 years old. Throughout his life, he amassed a fortune that was worth multiple billions of dollars. He was referred to as the Grave Dancer due to his remarkable ability to bring back to life assets and projects that appeared to be on the verge of bankruptcy. In 1968, Zell established Equity Group Investments as a business entity to invest in real estate. Beyond the realm of real estate, Equity Group Investments, which is now known as Equity International, has expanded its operations ever since it was established. The privately held company is in charge of an investment portfolio that is worth $1 billion and has interests that are dispersed over numerous continents in a variety of industries, such as the media, transportation, energy, and finance. Zell and his team are credited with establishing some of the largest publicly traded real estate investment trusts in the world. Zell is widely regarded as the originator of the modern real estate investment trust, REIT. As of December 2023, they consist of Equity Residential EQR, which is a real estate investment trust, REIT, that specializes in apartment buildings, and Equity Commonwealth EQC, which is a REIT that focuses on office buildings. As of April of the year 2023, Forbes reported that Zell's net worth was $5.2 billion. From childhood through schooling, Zell was born in 1941 and resided in Chicago, where he was reared in a Jewish household. His parents had immigrated to the United States in 1939, only a few months before Germany invaded Poland. His father was a jewelry salesman at the time of their arrival. Zell's interest in the business world began at a very young age and continued throughout. During the year 1953, when he was 12 years old, he would purchase Playboy publications in large quantities for $2 apiece, and then resell them for between $1.50 and $3. Zell recalled the event at a gathering of the Urban Land Institute in 2013. He referred to it as his first lesson in supply and demand. For the rest of that year, I became an importer of Playboy magazines to the suburbs, Zell said. The story of Zell's entrepreneurial endeavors continued throughout his time spent in college. During his time at the University of Michigan, he and a friend named Robert Lurie worked as property managers for landlords who owned student apartment units. During their first gig, they visited 15 different households. On the other hand, they invested a significant amount of time and effort into the acquisition and renovation of rundown properties with the intention of either renting them out to students or selling them. Zell had personally owned somewhere between 100 and 200 of the units he managed by the time he graduated in 1966. He had handled a total of 4,000 apartments while he was in school. It was before he went back to Chicago that he sold his portion of the property management company to Lurie. An early career in real estate and the film, The Grave Dancer. Zell joined a firm of attorneys shortly after completing his legal education and passing the bar exam. However, he left the practice soon after the first week of his employment there. Eventually, he concluded that he would devote his entire life to the business of real estate investment. In the year 1968, Zell established what would later be known as Equity Group Investments. In the following year, he was successful in persuading Lurie to collaborate with him. Overbuilding that occurred during the latter half of the 1960s and the early 1970s was a contributing factor in the market meltdown that occurred in 1973. The first form of property to be impacted was residential real estate, which was multifamily, and other types of properties quickly followed suit. There was a significant amount of default on loans for commercial properties, and a significant number of developers abandoned their projects. In light of this, Zell and Lurie were presented with the ideal opportunity to acquire homes of superior quality at affordable rates. As the crisis concluded, the two individuals had a rich portfolio that included retail, office, and apartment buildings. The portfolio was held by them for a considerable amount of time, and as a consequence, the value of the buildings was able to recover and finally surpass the levels at which they had been valued previously. The monthly rental revenue that the properties generated allowed Zell and Lurie to make their debt payments while they were waiting for the properties to be sold. This method of investing in real estate was relatively new at the time. The majority of property investors made their money by flipping properties rather than by accumulating rental income. According to an article that was published in the Real Estate Review, Sam Zell's approach to real estate was defined as dancing on the skeletons of other people's mistakes. It was because of this line that he became known as Grave Dancer. The realm of real estate. Zell broadened his interests after he was successful in transforming properties that needed repair into valuable ones. In the 1980s, he started buying businesses from other people. The most important thing is that his investment strategy did not change. During an interview with Leaders magazine, he stated, "I made my fortune by turning right when everyone else was going left." This is how he made his fortune successful. The late 1980s and early 1990s were a time when I was purchasing office buildings for a price that was 50 cents on the dollar. I kept checking behind me to see who my rivals were, but there was no one there. I was completely unprepared. I couldn't avoid wondering if I had made a mistake. There is a strong correlation between timidity and bravery. To turn around failing enterprises, Zell concentrated on taking over those businesses. Since the expansion of Equity Group's investment portfolio, Zell has made investments in businesses that are active in a variety of industries, such as rail, container leasing, passenger cruise, plastics packaging, agricultural chemicals, and industrial manufacturing. When it was in existence, it held a controlling interest in the Tribune Company, which was the proprietor of both the Chicago Tribune and the Los Angeles Times. The transaction was met with widespread criticism because Zell loaded the company with so much debt to take it private that it ultimately failed. I'm a professional opportunist, Zell said in an interview with the Associated Press when the sale proved to be unsuccessful. There is a good chance that we are connected in some way or another, regardless of the subject matter that you choose to discuss. Zell's portfolio of 573 office properties, known as the Equity Office REIT, was sold to the Blackstone Group BX, the largest alternative investment manager in the world, for a total of $39 billion in 2007. This transaction made Zell a prominent figure in the news in 2007. This transaction was the largest leveraged buyout deal in the history of the world at the time it took place. Because it took place just before the subprime mortgage crisis and the accompanying real estate recession, it was also regarded as a savvy decision in retrospect. Conclusion. The strategy that Sam Zell employs in his investment endeavors has always centered on grasping chances in situations where others see risk or failure. His success in transforming troubled buildings into valuable assets, as well as his later diversification into a variety of industries, indicates his ability to see and capitalize on possibilities that are undervalued. Despite the criticism that has been leveled against his high-risk moves, such as the acquisition of Tribune Company through the use of heavy borrowing, Zell's career has been characterized by strategic acumen and courageous choices. The fact that Zell was able to sell his Equity Office REIT portfolio to the Blackstone Group in 2007 is a brilliant example of his ability to time the market. Zell was able to demonstrate his ability to make astute and high-stakes decisions by selling his property right before the subprime mortgage crisis. This allowed him to not only profit from a peak market but also avoid the subsequent slump. Don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and drop a comment below to let us know what you think.